Good evening, and welcome back to our latest global currency and financial markets update. Today we have an important report that is drawing significant attention from investors, forex traders, and currency holders around the world. If you have been following developments related to the Vietnamese Dong, the Iraqi Dinar, and the broader foreign exchange market, then today's update is one you will not want to miss. Over the past several weeks, global financial markets have experienced a series of important developments that continue to influence investor sentiment and currency valuations. From changing expectations surrounding interest rates to evolving economic policies in emerging markets, the international forex landscape remains one of the most closely watched areas of global finance. Among the currencies receiving increased attention are the Vietnamese Dong and the Iraqi Dinar, both of which continue to generate discussion among analysts, investors, and economic observers. As always, it is important to remember that currency values are influenced by many factors, including economic growth, inflation trends, trade activity, central bank policies, government reforms, foreign investment flows, and overall market confidence. While speculation often dominates online discussions, professional analysts generally focus on official announcements, economic indicators, and long-term trends when evaluating a country's currency outlook. Let's begin with Vietnam. Vietnam continues to be recognized as one of Asia's fastest-growing economies. Over the past decade, the country has transformed itself into a major manufacturing and export hub. Global corporations continue expanding operations throughout Vietnam, attracted by competitive labor costs, improving infrastructure, and strategic access to international markets. This steady flow of foreign direct investment has played a major role in supporting Vietnam's economic growth and strengthening confidence in the country's future prospects. The Vietnamese Dong remains under the management of the State Bank of Vietnam, which continues to monitor currency market conditions closely. Officials have repeatedly emphasized the importance of maintaining stability while ensuring sufficient liquidity throughout the financial system. Market analysts note that the central bank has demonstrated a willingness to act when necessary in order to limit excessive volatility and preserve confidence in the nation's currency. Recent economic data suggests that Vietnam continues benefiting from strong export performance across several key industries. Electronics, machinery, textiles, footwear, and technology-related manufacturing remain important contributors to economic activity. The country's export-oriented growth model has helped generate foreign currency earnings and support broader economic expansion. Many economists believe Vietnam's long-term outlook remains favorable due to its ability to attract international investment and integrate itself into global supply chains. Several multinational corporations have expanded production facilities within the country in recent years, creating employment opportunities and increasing economic activity. At the same time, Vietnam continues facing challenges that are common among developing economies. Global economic uncertainty, fluctuations in energy prices, geopolitical developments, and changing monetary conditions in major economies can all influence the performance of the Vietnamese Dong. Nevertheless, government officials remain focused on maintaining economic stability and supporting sustainable growth. One of the major factors affecting currency markets worldwide is the policy direction of the United States Federal Reserve. Because the US dollar serves as the world's primary reserve currency, changes in American monetary policy often influence exchange rates across the globe. When investors expect higher interest rates in the United States, capital may flow toward dollar-denominated assets. Conversely, expectations of lower rates can create opportunities for emerging market currencies to strengthen. For Vietnam, managing these external influences remains a critical part of monetary policy. Financial authorities continue balancing economic growth objectives with inflation control and exchange rate stability. Investors continue monitoring inflation figures, foreign reserve levels, trade balances, and central bank communications for clues regarding future policy decisions. As a result, the Vietnamese Dong remains a currency that many analysts watch closely. While forecasts differ regarding future exchange rate movements, most economists agree that Vietnam's long-term economic fundamentals remain stronger than many comparable developing markets. Now let's turn our attention to Iraq and the Iraqi dinar. Few currencies generate as much discussion among retail investors as the Iraqi dinar. For years, the dinar has remained the subject of intense debate, speculation, and analysis. Investors around the world continue following economic developments in Iraq in hopes of understanding the country's long-term financial future. The Iraqi economy remains heavily dependent on oil revenues. Oil exports continue providing the majority of government income, making global energy prices an important factor in Iraq's overall economic performance. Higher oil prices generally support government revenues and improve fiscal conditions. While lower prices can create financial challenges, recent reports indicate that Iraq continues making progress in several areas of economic reform. Government officials have discussed initiatives designed to modernize the banking sector, improve transparency, strengthen financial oversight, and expand digital payment systems. These reforms are viewed by many economists as important steps toward improving the country's financial infrastructure. The Central Bank of Iraq continues emphasizing monetary stability as a primary objective. Officials have repeatedly stated their commitment to maintaining confidence in the national currency and supporting the broader financial system. Recent policy actions have focused on improving foreign exchange mechanisms, strengthening banking compliance standards, and enhancing cooperation with international financial institutions. Among currency holders, one topic continues to dominate discussions: the possibility of a future Iraqi dinar revaluation. The concept of a revaluation has generated significant interest for many years. However, professional economists frequently caution investors against relying on rumors or unverified claims. Official policy statements remain the most reliable source of information regarding exchange rate decisions. At present, Iraqi authorities continue supporting exchange rate stability. Recent budget discussions and official government planning documents have reinforced the existing exchange rate framework, rather than indicating any immediate dramatic changes. This distinction is important. Many online discussions use terms such as revaluation, redenomination, and currency reform interchangeably, even though they represent very different concepts. A currency reform program may involve introducing new banknotes, modernizing payment systems, or simplifying transactions, without necessarily changing the international value of the currency. Financial experts, therefore, encourage investors to focus on confirmed economic developments rather than speculative predictions. Despite this caution, many observers remain optimistic about Iraq's long-term potential. The country possesses substantial natural resources, a strategically important geographic position, and a relatively young population. Supporters of long-term economic growth argue that successful reforms could eventually strengthen investor confidence and support broader economic development. One of the most encouraging developments involves the modernization of Iraq's banking sector. Expanding electronic payments, improving regulatory compliance, and increasing financial transparency are considered important steps toward integrating Iraq more fully into the global financial system. Another positive factor involves foreign exchange reserves. Strong reserve positions can provide central banks with additional flexibility when managing currency stability and responding to external economic pressures. Many economists view adequate reserves as an important indicator of financial strength. The Iraqi government has also expressed interest in attracting foreign investment across various sectors of the economy. While oil remains dominant, Policymakers have discussed opportunities in infrastructure, transportation, agriculture, telecommunications, tourism, and manufacturing. Diversification remains a major goal because reducing dependence on oil revenues could help create a more balanced and resilient economy over the long term. As investors continue monitoring Iraq's progress, attention remains focused on indicators such as reserve levels, banking reforms, investment activity, fiscal performance, and economic growth rates. These factors provide a more accurate picture of future currency prospects than speculation alone. Meanwhile, the broader foreign exchange market continues experiencing significant activity. The global Forex market is the largest financial market in the world, with trillions of dollars changing hands every day. Unlike stock markets, which operate within specific exchanges, currency trading occurs continuously across international financial centers. Exchange rates are constantly influenced by new information. Economic reports, central bank statements, inflation data, employment figures, trade balances, geopolitical developments, and investor sentiment all contribute to market movements. In recent months, traders have closely followed inflation trends in major economies. Inflation remains one of the most important factors affecting monetary policy decisions. Central banks often adjust interest rates in response to inflationary pressures, which can significantly impact currency valuations. Investors are also monitoring economic growth forecasts. Strong growth can attract investment and support a country's currency, while weaker growth may reduce investor confidence. Commodity prices continue playing a major role as well. Energy exporting nations often benefit when oil prices rise, while importing nations may face increased costs. These dynamics can influence trade balances, government revenues, and exchange rate performance. Geopolitical developments remain another important consideration. Political stability generally supports investor confidence, while uncertainty can increase volatility in financial markets. Against this backdrop, both Vietnam and Iraq continue pursuing strategies designed to strengthen economic stability and support long-term growth. Vietnam's focus remains centered on export competitiveness, industrial expansion, technological development, and foreign investment attraction. Government officials continue emphasizing infrastructure improvements, workforce development, and international trade integration. Iraq's priorities include banking modernization, economic diversification, regulatory reform, infrastructure development, and financial sector strengthening. Although the two countries face different challenges and opportunities, both are working toward greater economic resilience and international competitiveness. For currency holders, patience often becomes one of the most important factors. Financial markets rarely move in straight lines. Economic progress typically occurs gradually through a combination of reforms, investment, policy adjustments, and changing market perceptions. This reality applies equally to the Vietnamese Dong, the Iraqi Dinar, and virtually every other currency in the global marketplace. Many successful investors focus on long-term trends rather than short-term fluctuations. They examine economic fundamentals, policy consistency, institutional strength, and growth potential when evaluating opportunities. Looking ahead, several developments could influence both currencies. For Vietnam, continued export growth, foreign investment inflows, inflation management, and monetary policy decisions will remain key factors. Analysts will also monitor global demand conditions and developments within major trading partners. For Iraq, attention will remain focused on economic reforms, oil revenue trends, banking sector modernization, reserve management, and investment activity. Progress in these areas could influence long-term perceptions regarding the country's financial future. At the same time, global market conditions will continue affecting both economies. Interest rate decisions by major central banks, energy prices, geopolitical developments, and international trade patterns will all play important roles. As we move further into the year, investors should expect continued volatility across currency markets. Such volatility is a normal part of financial markets and often reflects changing expectations regarding future economic conditions. The key takeaway from today's report is that both Vietnam and Iraq remain important stories within the global financial landscape. Vietnam continues building upon its reputation as a dynamic and rapidly developing economy. Strong exports, growing investment, and ongoing modernization efforts provide reasons for cautious optimism regarding its long-term outlook. Iraq continues pursuing reforms aimed at strengthening its financial system and supporting economic development. While speculation regarding the Iraqi dinar remains widespread, official policy continues emphasizing stability and gradual progress rather than sudden dramatic changes. Ultimately, currencies tend to reflect broader economic realities. Sustainable growth, sound policies, institutional strength, and investor confidence often prove more important than short-term headlines. As always, investors are encouraged to conduct independent research, follow official sources, and evaluate information carefully before making financial decisions. Currency markets can be complex, and understanding the difference between confirmed developments and speculation remains essential. The coming months are expected to bring additional announcements from central banks, governments, and international financial institutions. Each new development may provide valuable insights into the future direction of the Vietnamese Dong, the Iraqi Dinar, and the broader Forex market. For now, market participants around the world will continue watching closely, analyzing new information, and looking for signs that could shape the next chapter in the evolving global currency landscape. Thank you for joining us for today's comprehensive financial update. Stay informed, stay focused on verified information, and continue monitoring the developments that matter most in today's rapidly changing global economy. We will continue following every major update involving the Vietnamese Dong, the Iraqi Dinar, and international Forex markets, and bring you the latest information as it becomes available.